Trafford, Erik ten Hag began his rebuilding project having arrived from Dutch champions Ajax, with Danish midfielder Christian Eriksen among his early signings. Elsewhere, City made a statement of intent by signing Erling Haaland, whilst rivals Liverpool secured Uruguayan forward Darwin Núñez for a club record fee. Chelsea rung the changes too, title winner Raheem Sterling arriving from the champions, and he was joined in the capital by two former teammates who headed south to sign for Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. Across London, Spurs look to continue their progress under Antonio Conte, who brought in Richarlison to strengthen his side's attack. And there were newly promoted teams as well. Fulham and Bournemouth returned to the top flight, and they were joined by Nottingham Forest, who ended their 23-year wait to rejoin England's elite.
Launching the new campaign, Arsenal hope to sparkle at Crystal Palace. The Gunners had lost their first 3 games the previous season and were determined to make a better start, bolstered by new signings Gabriel Jesus and Alexander Zinchenko.
Zinchenko the target, free header. And it's in, Martinelli scores the opening goal of the new Premier League campaign. Mitchell's the defender, Saka around him, it's a brilliant finish to surely win the opening game of the new season for Arsenal.
Manchester United's new era under Erik ten Hag began against Brighton and Hove Albion, who'd never taken a Premier League point at Old Trafford.
It's well back, it's begging to be tapped home, and is by Pascal Gross. McAllister's arriving, and De Gea doesn't get there, and Gross does! A sensation here! There is a lot of work to do for the new Manchester United head coach, but Brighton living the dream.
Red all over the land, the Liverpool fans, only choose now.
Craven Cottage played host to Liverpool, fancied for a strong title challenge, having just beaten Manchester City in the Community Shield. Newly promoted opponents Fulham showed no fear.
Tete looks deep and awkward and hanging and in! Mitrovic! What a start for Fulham! Salah, Núñez trying to get in there! That is what he is all about! Mitrovic, he's gone down, leaning into Van Dijk, and a penalty's been given. Alexander Mitrovic, he's got one, now he's got two. Alexander-Arnold with the ball over the top, taking a touch through, and it's put in for 2-2.
On the other side of the capital, West Ham hosted the most hotly anticipated debut of all. Erling Haaland cost Manchester City more than £50 million, and it soon looked like a bargain.
Haaland attacks this one, and he's got past Areola. Easy decision for Michael Oliver. A deep-wrapped opportunity then for Erling Haaland, with a sense of inevitability. He's off and running at the first time of asking. Here's Haaland, he's in again, scores again. That's why he's got the big reputation. Another side of goal, another goal. Manchester City eyeing up a hat-trick of Premier League titles, and they've got off to the perfect start.
On the second weekend of the season, the Premier League turned 30. And the City ground was buzzing for Nottingham Forest's first top-flight fixture since 1999.
And it's in! Taiwo Awoniyi! Nottingham Forest celebrate a Premier League goal this millennium. Southgate hits the arm, but is it in a natural position? Penalty. Declan Rice steps up. It's saved! It feels like it's Nottingham Forest day.
Take two for Ten Hag, trying again to get off the mark away at Brentford.
Oh, De Gea with a needless concession. United put under telling pressure, and Jensen's won it back and scores again. Header back across the face of goal, causes problems. It's 3-0. Towards Burmo. It is 4. Manchester United are being destroyed. It's an utter demolition. Played 2, lost 2, and humiliated 2.
I feel really sorry for the fans. They did everything to support us, but we let them down.
On a lively Monday night at Anfield, Crystal Palace took the lead and Darwin Núñez lost the plot. Sent off on his home debut. Later, Luis Diaz dazzled the Palace defence, but the Reds were kept waiting for their first league win.
A fixture that has been a Premier League perennial for over 30 years. Historically, results have favoured one rather than the other, but will that status quo be maintained in the wake of respective summer transformations? Volleyed in quite magnificently. Kalidou Koulibaly. Davis setting it up, and it's in! Spurs back on level terms through Højbjerg. Conte for Sterling. It's Reece James! And Chelsea lead again. Another Spurs corner. 2-2! Right at the end of the game. It's a massive goal for Tottenham. An angry handshake, which speaks volumes about the way the game has been played.
Loss of 2 points left a sour taste for the Blues. They hope to atone for that at Leeds United.
Aronson going and getting it! Oh, a howler from Mendy! And the American punishes Chelsea!
Goals from Rodrigo and Jack Harrison sealed Leeds' emphatic success. A first defeat of the season for Thomas Tuchel's team. 4 points from their first 2 games prepared Newcastle United for the ultimate challenge, Manchester City.
Bernardo Silva always given the license to come back inside, and to good effect as well. Ilkay Gundogan, the goal scorer, and it's taken less than 5 minutes. Alan Saint-Maximin. Oh, great ball in, they've got the reward this time, and it's richly deserved as well. Saint-Maximin charges forward again, trying to release Wilson, who takes it on and scores! Joyous Geordie jubilation! Trippier taking it! Euphoria all around!
City stepped up a gear and salvaged a draw. But Newcastle had shown themselves as contenders to upset the established order. Manchester United unveiled former Real Madrid midfielder Casemiro, a welcome distraction from defeats to Brighton and Brentford. Next, bitter rivals Liverpool.
Jadon Sancho, patient, accurate. Manchester United celebrate scoring for the very first time this season. Martial looks for Rashford, one-on-one with Alisson. Marcus Rashford has doubled United's lead. It's a quite simply enormous win for Manchester United. Our first 3 points of the season. The alarm bells will be ringing now at Anfield.
Winless in their opening 3 league games, Liverpool took out their frustration on Bournemouth.
Great ball in, brilliant header! Diaz with it! Liverpool have come out fighting! Brilliant strike from Harvey Elliott! This is more like the Liverpool we know. Alexander-Arnold!
5-0 up at the break and still not satisfied. Jurgen Klopp's side went on to equal the Premier League's biggest ever win.
Brilliantly put away by Fabio Carvalho. This is a statement victory at Anfield.
At this present moment in time, there's no denying that we're probably under-equipped at this level and certainly in this arena. So, but the scoreline, of course, is pretty shell-shocking, really.
Parker was sacked 4 days later, leaving first-team coach Gary O'Neill in interim charge. After dropping points at Newcastle, Manchester City fell 2 goals behind against Crystal Palace. But that shot merely set the stage for another Norwegian masterclass.
Foden back in! Haaland is there! Bernardo Silva stones! Erling Haaland once again! Haaland wants it. Haaland has it. Erling Haaland has a hat-trick!
In Liverpool, Newcastle aimed to underline their progress, fielding a club record £59 million forward who made an instant impression.
Great for Longstaff. What a moment for Isak! Announcing the arrival of Alexander Isak. Salah for Firmino. 1-1. How they needed that. Corner that might be worth 2 points for Liverpool. It's Salah, can't bring it down. Real pinball in there, and he's in. They've won it with the last kick of the game. Anfield erupts.
5 matches in, leaders Arsenal held the only 100% record. Manchester City and Spurs remained unbeaten. Brighton were in the top 4 with Manchester United, Liverpool and Chelsea notable absentees. In the bottom 3, Midlands misery. Leicester and Wolves both winless either side of Aston Villa. Everton were the only other team yet to register a victory.
After 5 straight wins to start the season, leaders Arsenal attempted to make it a perfect half dozen at Old Trafford. A rivalry forged in the early years of the Premier League, the latest instalment saw the hosts field their new £82 million signing from Ajax, Antony.
Fernandes turning, right in the challenge of Gabriel. The referee's played the advantage. Antony makes his mark. Oh, Fernandes is the sublime pass. Marcus Rashford, instinctive. Some finish that. As Arsenal commit the bodies forward, they leave themselves prone. Eriksen for Rashford. Arsenal's perfect start to the season is going to come to an end at Old Trafford. And United with a real statement victory.
Leicester arrived on the south coast struggling with just 1 point from their first 5 league games. But things got no easier for Brendan Rodgers at the Amex.
Oh, I say, what a hit by McAllister for Brighton and Hove Albion.
In the capital, Chelsea continued to flounder and found themselves a goal down at home to West Ham.
Thiago Silva. Oh, a little turn from Chilwell. He's done it. Onto the score sheet to equalise for Chelsea. Is there something more here for Chelsea? Oh, Havertz! He's lashed it in to surely win it for the Blues.
That may have taken them into the top 6, but a midweek European defeat at Dinamo Zagreb spelled the end for Thomas Tuchel, less than 18 months after he'd led them to Champions League glory. He was replaced swiftly. Within 24 hours, Brighton manager Graham Potter was announced as Tuchel's successor, signing a 5-year contract. On the 8th of September, the United Kingdom and countries around the world were in mourning at the passing of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. The Premier League was postponed for 1 match week, with respects paid upon its return. At the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Leicester was still looking for a first league win, but attention was focused on the team news. Son Heung-min dropped to the bench amid an 8-game goal drought. Summoned with half an hour remaining, it didn't take him long to break that streak.
Is this Son's moment, making his way forward, taking on fast and marking his comeback onto the field with his first goal of the season. Son, who will try his luck. Oh, that one's even better.
Within 13 minutes, he became the first ever Spurs sub to score a Premier League hat-trick. As for Leicester, 22 goals conceded in 7 games was the worst defensive start in Premier League history. September ended with Arsenal still in pole position, a point above City and Spurs. Fulham was 6th, behind Manchester United, but ahead of both Chelsea and Liverpool. Leicester remained last with just 1 point from their opening 7 games. Forest and West Ham 3, 2 points behind Wolves and Palace.
Spurs arrived at the Emirates still unbeaten, just a point behind leaders Arsenal. Another absorbing North London derby. The warmth of the welcome didn't last long.
Patient possession, hallmarks of the Arsenal game, just waiting for the right opening to try and present itself. White, will it be now? It is! It's a stunner from Thomas Partey. Here's Saka getting it onto his left foot. Bubble in by Gabriel Jesus. Martinelli. Granit Xhaka. And this North London derby is short.
In the Manchester derby, City's unbeaten record in the league and Europe was on the line against Erik ten Hag's United.
Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, Manchester City lead with 7 minutes played. And Haaland leaps, and did it go over the line? The referee says goal. De Bruyne. Haaland! 2 goals in 4 minutes. Haaland, Foden! It's 4! De Bruyne, Sergio Gomez, Haaland, hat-trick! Haaland. Foden, it's another hat-trick! Hat-trick for Haaland, hat-trick for Foden, job done!
Bruno Lage's Wolves went to West Ham with just 1 win to their name. His goal-shy side was shown how it should be done by Gianluca Scamacca and never recovered. A 2-0 defeat left Wolves in the bottom 3. Lage was dismissed the following day. At Chelsea, Steve Davis took charge for what was also Graham Potter's first Premier League game at Stamford Bridge with his new club.
Breuer. Flag stays down, it's Breuer! And it's Chelsea's day at Stamford Bridge.
It's a fixture with kudos and heavyweight billing with a fresh twist to its familiar dynamic. It's Arsenal, not Liverpool, who have the summit in their sights. Now the chance to measure how far-reaching their improvement has been. Ready through beautifully. The perfect start. Less than a minute. Martinelli gives Arsenal the lead. Gabriel stretching. Nunez. Liverpool back on level terms. Gabriel letting it run, and Saka slides it in. It's Bobby Firmino, and it's 2-2. Saka getting it back from Martinelli. They're queuing up for it in the middle, and that will be a penalty. Bukayo Saka, the Gunners lead by the odd goal in 5. The statement win.
Beaten by a buoyant Arsenal, Liverpool kicked off against Manchester City, 13 points adrift of the title holders.
Barely barely 30 miles between their two stadiums, but a rivalry that extends far ashore, right around the world right now. Eyeballs glued to this encounter. And it's easily claimed by Alisson. He looks for Salah, who has managed to turn the defender. Cancelo, Mo Salah! Liverpool score at the Kop end.
That single goal decisive, enough to inflict City's first league defeat of the season. Away from Anfield, former Reds captain Steven Gerrard was met with jeers at the end of a 2-0 home defeat to Chelsea, which left Aston Villa 16th, only a point above the relegation zone. Trying to gain ground in the title race, Manchester United and Tottenham met, a pairing that had produced no less than 19 goals over the previous 2 seasons.
Sancho, teed up for Fred. Oh, and in! Fred, and now Fernandes! Bruno Fernandes gloriously doubles Manchester United's lead.
A dominant display overshadowed by Cristiano Ronaldo's early departure after refusing to go on as a late substitute.
Well, there you go, good night.
The darkness continued to close in on Aston Villa. Steven Gerrard's men cracked again at Craven Cottage.
Corner for Fulham, pushed away by Martinez, but here's Reed, lined it up, finds the net.
Add to that an Alexander Mitrovic penalty and own goal from Tyrone Mings. And Gerrard's time was up. Soon after the final whistle, he was sacked by a club now 17th. Bottom of the league, Nottingham Forest wanted to revive distant memories of the Premier League's first ever televised match, a 1-0 win over Liverpool.
Which does allow Forest the opportunity to get into Liverpool territory. Hammered in by Cook, off the post from Yates. Awoniyi, breakthrough. It is swung in for Van Dijk. What a save. Magnificent stop from Henderson. And that could well be worth 2 points.
Manchester United's attention turned to Chelsea. A single point separated the sides. Both new bosses appeared to be settling in nicely.
Chilwell with the corner. Now then, was there a foul? The referee says yes. Chelsea given the penalty. And Jorginho scores. Shaw. There's the header. Oh, and Kepa has kept the ball out, has he? Goals given. Remarkable finale here. The equalising goal in stoppage time for Manchester United.
7 weeks after packing his bags at Brighton, Graham Potter returned with Chelsea unbeaten in his first 9 matches in all competitions. His successor, Roberto De Zerbi, had a surprise in store.
Matoma to Trossard. Can he finish? Leandro Trossard! Brighton have burst out of the blocks here. From post delivery on and into the net. Brighton lead 2-0. Best opinion, real options here for Brighton, whose afternoon is getting better and better. Ciso, he's going to go for it, beaten away by Mendy. He'll get a second chance, pushed away, and Gross is there! And he wraps up victory for Brighton and Hove Albion.
No one had got the better of Liverpool in the league at Anfield for more than 18 months. Winless in 8, Leeds weren't expected to change that. But when Rodrigo made the most of a mistake from Joe Gomez, opinions were rapidly revised. The Reds equalised through Mo Salah and pushed for a second goal, only for their evening to unravel with a minute to go.
Liverpool trying to get a winner, but they don't want to concede one. Bamford, supported by Somerville. Crescencio Somerville surely wins the game for Leeds United.
Arsenal ended October still top of the table, 2 points ahead of Manchester City. Liverpool were 9th, having already lost twice as many league games as they did in the whole of the previous season. Nottingham Forest remained bottom, joined by Wolves and Leicester in the relegation spots. Only 4 points separated 18th place from 11th.
With Steven Gerrard gone, Unai Emery arrived as his replacement. No easing into the job either. His first game, a visit from Manchester United.
Bailey scores! The Unai Emery era is off the mark. It's Luca Dean! Oh! This start is getting better and better and better. Watkins, good pass, Ramsey! They are flying this afternoon.
As one side were revived, another slumped. One win since August had Ralph Hasenhüttl fighting for his future, but a hammering at home from Newcastle proved one defeat too many, his tenure ending after almost 4 years. Stepping up as his successor, Luton Town's Nathan Jones, tasked with stopping Saints' slide towards the second tier. After an unlikely win at Anfield, Leeds returned home to face Bournemouth. There was an edge to the atmosphere at Ellen Road, yet few would foresee what would come next.
Somerville is in straight away, and it's a penalty! Rodrigo! Oh, yes! And Bournemouth have responded quickly! Oh, what a finish! Philip Billing! This has been some turnaround! Bournemouth looking to go on the break again. And Solanke has put it away! Strauch bounced off Mepham. Oh! What a finish that is! It's in from Liam Cooper! Leeds had to dig deep. They just did! Nonto, Somerville is there. Somerville! Oh, wow! What a game! What a comeback! Absolutely astonishing!
Hugs all round at Leeds, but a win over Arsenal would help Chelsea fans to embrace Graham Potter, bruised after a battering at Brighton. But the Gunners hadn't lost a league game at the Bridge in over 4 years.
Arsenal, the only team to have scored in all of their Premier League games. Still half an hour to go here. Oh, it's gone through the wall and it's in! The final whistle, big moment, as Arsenal's message to Manchester City is catch us if you can.
One more round of fixtures before the World Cup break, beginning at the Etihad, where Man City hosted Brentford. The Bees hadn't beaten City in a top-flight game since 1937.
Ivan Toney is in there, lurking with intent. It is a deserved advantage. Brentford lead 1-0. Silva flashing it in, and Brentford surely win it. Dramatic, climactic, ecstatic.
It's maybe the biggest result in club history against maybe the best team in the world. That is mind-blowing in every aspect.
Bournemouth and Everton sat just above the bottom three, only a point apart. Both were trying to halt bad runs when they met at the Vitality.
Solanke, Tavernier scores! Kept in by Billing, and Tavernier, it's in!
Jadon Anthony sealed the win for the Cherries, leaving Frank Lampard frustrated.
Nothing was good enough from us. So they had more desire on the pitch than our players. We made mistakes that their players didn't make, and you're going to lose games in the Prem like that.
A Unbeaten since August, Newcastle were confident ahead of Chelsea's visit as Graham Potter's flawless start began to falter.
But Chelsea giving Newcastle a taste of their own medicine, and Gallagher sends Pope flying. Almiron threatening to get in behind here. We may yet do more than that, Almiron. Oh, it's a glorious goal! Willock with a stunner at the Gallagher's end.
At Molineux, a win would see Arsenal go 5 points clear at the top. Wolves introduced new head coach Julen Lopetegui ahead of kick-off as Steve Davis took charge for the final time.
Jesus. Fabio Vieira, and turned in by Martin Odegaard. Zinchenko to deliver. Martinelli. Odegaard, 2 for him, 2 for Arsenal. And a 5-point lead at the World Cup break beckons for these top gunners.
Which is exactly what they had, with that important mental milestone of being top at Christmas. Man City, Newcastle and Spurs completing the top 4. At the other end, defeat meant Julen Lopetegui would begin his reign with Wolves bottom of the league. Southampton and Nottingham Forest made up the relegation places, with Everton and West Ham a point above.
A 6-week pause for the World Cup saw 133 Premier League players jet off to represent their countries in Qatar, but stories continued to emerge from the English clubs. Cristiano Ronaldo's Manchester United career concluded in stunning fashion after he made his unhappiness at Old Trafford clear in an interview with a UK talk show, going on to leave the club by mutual agreement.
He's gone, and it's the past. We're now looking forward, we're looking into the future.
Across Manchester, Pep Guardiola signed a 2-year contract extension at City to keep him at the Etihad until 2025. Brentford's Thomas Frank also agreed a new deal that would run to 2027. Gary O'Neill was appointed as Bournemouth's head coach on a permanent basis, a fortnight before American billionaire Bill Foley completed his takeover of the club and pledged to put the Cherries in the best possible position to succeed. The World Cup was won by Argentina, the crowning glory of their captain Lionel Messi's long and glittering career. The new champions fielded 5 Premier League players during a thrilling final, which ended 3-3 before the previous holders France were defeated in a penalty shootout.
Domestic football didn't need any time to warm back up. At Goodison Park, with the scores level, Julen Lopetegui was treated to some classic late drama.
Are we going to get a thrilling twist here in stoppage time? Here's Traore. Wolves have got plenty forwards here. Cuts it back in a break to 8. Yuri, who fires the winner for Wolves!
That was Wolves' first league victory since October, hauling them off the bottom of the table and just a point behind Everton. Elsewhere, West Ham tested Arsenal's readiness for the resumption. The Gunners were without Gabriel Jesus, injured at the World Cup, and they suffered a setback after kick-off too, when Saïd Benrahma's penalty gave the Hammers the lead.
Odegaard. He's going to have a go. Oh, that's turned into a useful pass! And Bukayo Saka levels for Arsenal. Xhaka, Martinelli, angle against him, but he made it work! Odegaard, Nketiah! Oh, magnificent! Irresistible from Arsenal, who are showing their class now.
With Arsenal pulling, he had to hang on to their coattails at Leeds. A brace from Erling Haaland, back in the city of his birth, was the difference. Match week 18 carried a unique sense of poignance as clubs across the country paid tribute to Pelé. The legendary Brazilian passed away in his homeland on the 29th of December 2022 and was honoured ahead of each Premier League game. Arsenal may have been top, but beat an impressive Brighton side and belief would grow this was a title challenge that could be sustained.
Here's Gabriel Martinelli, and it's dropped perfectly for Bukayo Saka to strike Arsenal in front inside 70 seconds. The corner kick is flashed in, headed away, Zinchenko left it, Ødegaard, it's gone in. Arsenal double their lead.
2 more goals turned into 3 more points to end a near perfect first half of the season. Arsenal ended 2022 in top spot with a 7-point cushion between them and Manchester City. Newcastle and Manchester United continued strong campaigns as Spurs slipped to 5th, 2 points above Liverpool. Southampton were 20th, just behind Wolves and Nottingham Forest, but 5 points separated the bottom 8 teams.
The start of 2023 took Liverpool to Brentford with a New Year's resolution to defend better than their last visit when Jurgen Klopp's team conceded 3 times. The Bees wanted more of the same.
There's the ball in. Oh, and it's gone in! Brentford take the lead! Here come Brentford again. Vermo. In by Jensen. Wissa! Oh, Anderson there! It's a goal! It went over the line! It is 2-0 to Brentford. It's a Vermo! And Brian Vermo! A famous night in the history of Brentford Football Club.
Southampton were still searching for a First League win under Nathan Jones when they welcomed fellow strugglers Nottingham Forest. Steve Cooper's side had the league's worst record on the road, but took 3 points at St Mary's thanks to Taiwo Awoniyi. Manchester City aimed to add to the unease at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea had won just one of their last 7 league matches. In the first half, even Erling Haaland couldn't find a way to break the deadlock. So at the break, Pep Guardiola shuffled the pack.
Riyad Mahrez comes on and Jack Grealish enters the 3-2. De Bruyne, Grealish, that's brilliant! And Riyad Mahrez scores! The 2 Manchester City substitutes combine!
To make matters worse for Graham Potter, the Blues were beaten again by City 3 days later, 4-0 in the FA Cup at the Etihad. In 10th position, Chelsea sat 3 places lower than West London rivals Fulham, who were keen to humiliate their illustrious neighbours.
Willian looking for the angle, gets it deflected, it's in! The former Chelsea man gives Fulham the lead against the Blues. Useful from Pereira, Kepa couldn't get there! And there's the goal for Fulham! And it just keeps on getting worse for Chelsea.
Potter's former club continued to prosper. Liverpool's Cody Gakpo will have few happy memories of his first league start away at Brighton, where Solly March was in blistering form. On target twice before the Seagulls finished off their opponents with a flourish.
Oh, Welbeck could be in here. He is in here! Danny Welbeck seals victory over Liverpool.
Welcome to the 189th Manchester derby.
Here are your Rashford scouts today.
Nothing matters more in this town than the Reds against the Blues. If there was ever a time to topple Manchester City, today just could be the day. Mahrez, Kevin De Bruyne, around Casemiro, Grealish! Manchester City take the lead in the derby! Casemiro, Rashford, is he on? Bruno Fernandes! The derby is back to 1-1. Garnacho, the Old Trafford roar, spurring him on. Comes off Akanji. Garnacho again! Marcus Rashford! And in the blink of an eye, Manchester City's lead in the derby has been obliterated. of Eric Ten Hag's tenure so far. Manchester United beat City 2-1 at Old Trafford.
City's setback made the next North London derby even tougher than usual for Tottenham. Arsenal knew a win on their rivals' turf would stretch their lead at the top to 8 points.
Saka getting to the byline, and Lloris has tipped it in. It's first blood to the side in first place. A precious advantage. Saka finding Ødegaard, who can test Lloris again here, and he's brilliantly beaten him. Arsenal are in dreamland. They're blowing Tottenham away.
The champions have been watching with interest. Next, it was City's turn to face Tottenham and try to revive their faltering title defence. 2 Spurs goals in 2 minutes demanded a stirring response.
Here's Mahrez. 4 in the middle. Alvarez stretching, and into the back of the net, Alvarez! Now Rodri. This is Mahrez, this is Haaland, 2-2! Perisic has been outfoxed here. Riyad Mahrez, what a goal that is! Riyad Mahrez puts Pep Guardiola's side into the lead.
The Algerian capped his superb display by sealing the victory. A thrilling comeback, followed by a win over Wolves 3 days later that cut Arsenal's gap at the top to 2 points. Brighter news for the Gunners, they still had 2 games in hand, but clearly couldn't afford to lose again to the only team that had beaten them in the league all season, Manchester United.
2 clubs who have dominated the first 2 decades of the Premier League era. 16 of the first 21 Premier League titles were won by either Arsenal or Manchester United. This is Rashford. Sight of goal for Marcus Rashford! That finish is from the very top drawer. Here's Ødegaard. Danger in Nketiah! An immediate response. This team aren't top of the Premier League for nothing. Saka. Shake off. Eriksen! What a goal from Bukayo Saka! Arsenal lead at the Emirates. Still decided to come. Stooping header. Lisandro Martinez has got it in! 2-2 as Manchester United refuse to bow down. Trossard, Zinchenko to his left. Arriving is Ødegaard, and it's in from Nketiah. And in the final minute of the 90, Arsenal grab the winning goal, surely.
Capital, equally high stakes for 2 renowned clubs bracketed together in the bottom 3, Everton and West Ham United.
In by Emerson. West Ham in front. Jarrod Bowen makes the breakthrough. Antonio. And he's away from Tarkowski. It's Bowen. It's 2-0 for West Ham.
As the London club climbed out of the relegation zone, 19th placed Everton decided enough was enough and dispensed with the services of Frank Lampard. Arsenal took a 5-point lead into February with champions Manchester City sitting second. Newcastle and Manchester United made up the top 4. Liverpool and Chelsea were languishing in 9th and 10th respectively. Poor starts to the year saw Bournemouth and Everton slip into the relegation zone. Nottingham Forest have risen to 13th but had only 6 points between them and the bottom club Southampton.
February began a new era at Everton as freshly appointed manager Sean Dyche took charge of his first game. Arsenal, the opponents, arriving at Goodison unbeaten in 13 league matches.
Those are the Gladys Street hoping that this is the moment. In from McNeil. It is the moment! It's James Tarkowski. It's only 1 goal. It's only 1 game. But Everton will feel that they are back. A potential twist in the battles at both ends of the table.
Liverpool's poor start to 2023 saw them still winless in the league, and a trip to Molineux made things worse, with the Reds 2 down after 15 minutes.
Cunha, not quite cleared away, and it's Craig Dawson on his debut, and what a start for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Adama Traore waiting for support, Neves is there, Ruben Neves, Wolves have their third.
With Wolves' form improving, it was a worrying time for Leeds. Without a league victory since November, they headed to the City Ground. Brennan Johnson's volley proved enough for all 3 points, and enough to cost Jesse Marsch his job, less than a year after he was appointed. In North London, Manchester City faced Tottenham. The hosts were without manager Antonio Conte, recuperating at home after surgery, but Harry Kane was fully fit and was on the brink of history.
Manchester City have never won at this stadium. It's a proud record for Tottenham, who will hope to extend it today. Oh, that's a poor ball by Rodri, pounced upon by Højbjerg, and Harry Kane is in for his historic goal number 267. Harry Kane has now scored more goals in competitive games for Tottenham than anyone else ever. Too high for Haaland. This is Mahrez off the underside of the crossbar. Tottenham have done it again against Pep Guardiola. Harry Kane, a day he will never forget. This ground remains a hoodoo for City. 5 visits now, no goals, and another defeat.
With 6 losses in his first 7 league games so far, Nathan Jones was already a man under pressure. So when Southampton let a lead slip against 10-man Wolves, the club decided they'd seen enough. He was sacked after just 94 days in charge. There weren't many good vibes at Anfield either, with Liverpool still winless in the league since December, but a breakaway goal from Mo Salah gave the home side some hope against local rivals Everton.
Salah, Alexander-Arnold on the outside, here he comes. And it's put in by Gakpo, his first for Liverpool.
The top two had yet to face each other after an autumn postponement, but with Manchester City looming ominously just 3 points adrift, this will be Arsenal's toughest title test yet.
And we are underway. Tomiyasu makes a mistake. De Bruyne scores! These are the standards, punished emphatically. Tomiyasu's error was only marginal, but how costly it has proven to be. Good work from Xhaka. Delicate. Nketiah! Did it go over the line? The referee is pointing to the penalty spot here, I think.
Yeah, for the challenge maybe. Ederson on Nketiah.
Saka scores! He takes the burden of responsibility. And Arsenal come from behind at home against the reigning champions. Silva. Given away by Gabriel. Now, Haaland. A sight of goal. Gundogan inside him. Grealish waiting. Jack Grealish scores! Manchester City take the lead for the second time in the game. Plenty of energy in these Manchester City legs. De Bruyne, Haaland. That could be tonight. The look of champions about Manchester City. Big questions asked of them, big answers given in response. Nothing less than massive, this win for Manchester City, who move back to the top of the Premier League table for the first time since November the 5th.
Arsenal's title charge seemed to be stuttering, but a comeback from 2-1 down at Villa Park just days later saw them make a quick return to the top and marked a special day for January signing Jorginho.
Martinelli into that crowded penalty area, setting up Jorginho! Comeback complete! An immense display of Gunners' mettle in a thriller at the Villa.
Despite dropping to second, a win at Nottingham Forest would vault City back to the top, and they were well on course thanks to a goal from Bernardo Silva.
Brandon Johnson making his way through, Gibbs wide across, and it's Chris Wood who scores the equaliser for Nottingham Forest!
If you live in Newcastle upon Tyne, there is only one club to support. It has been a remarkable season on Tyneside, but Liverpool hoping that their best football is still ahead of them this campaign. Darwin Núñez is the target here. Brilliant first touch control, and Darwin Núñez scores! Salah, that's lovely for Gakpo. Liverpool get their second. Cody Gakpo, 2 goals in 2 games.
A red card for Nick Pope rounded off a rotten evening for the Magpies. He'd now be unavailable for their Carabao Cup final meeting with Manchester United the following week. At Ellen Road, 2 of the bottom 3 faced off under temporary management. Leeds had appointed former Watford boss Javi Gracia to try and stave off relegation. Southampton had promoted from within first team coach Ruben Sayers, given an opportunity until the end of the season.
Somerville helping it through to Harrison, and now Firpo all the way through and in. Leeds United lift off. Delight and despair on the same pitch at the same time. Ellen Road feels a whole lot better now.
The following day, Spurs hosted Chelsea. A good recent run had seen the host climb to 4th. The Blues, meanwhile, were stuck in mid-table despite a raft of January signings, including the Premier League's most expensive player, Enzo Fernandez.
Only 2 Premier League wins since October. The big question is, are Chelsea going to turn the corner? This is Emerson. It's Tottenham's first shot on target. And it's followed up by Skip! Oliver Skip! With an absolute blaster! You can see the tension etched all over the face of Graham Potter. Dyer, Kane, that should be that! Tottenham double their lead. And they are making Chelsea's dismal run feel even worse. As Stuart Atwell blows the final whistle, and the pressure continues to mount on under siege Graham Potter. It is back-to-back wins for Tottenham. This race for the top 4 has the real potential to be gripping now.
That result kept Spurs in the top 4, Manchester United and Manchester City above them, with Arsenal ending February in first place. Newcastle and Fulham made up the top 6, while Chelsea remained 10th. Southampton was still bottom of the table and 4 points from safety, but only 6 points separated the 8 teams above. Everton and Bournemouth were also in the relegation zone.
Manchester City's March opened at home to a Newcastle side targeting a top 4 finish. Having drawn in August, neither team wanted to share the points this time.
Phil Foden. And still he goes. Phil Foden has got the goal. And it's taken Manchester City 15 minutes to break through.
Bernardo Silva made sure of a win which took City to within 2 points of the Premier League summit. All eyes on Arsenal's response against Bournemouth, who won just one of their last 9 league games.
Well, away we go. Top v second from bottom, at a stadium Bournemouth have never even earned a draw at. But they're looking for an early chance here, and they've got it! What a start! A matter of seconds on the clock.
Mikel Arteta's team in trouble, and Marco Senesi made things worse before the Gunners gained a glimmer of hope.
Saka's corner, that's awkward for Neto. Punches it in the air. Smith Rowe keeps it alive. Goal back for Arsenal. Thomas Partey. Partey. Still. Prods it to Nelson. Nelson across. Oh, did that cross the line? The answer's yes. 2-2. Surely the last attack of the game this will be. In goes the corner, cleared only as far as Nelson has to get his shot right. Oh, that is unbelievable! Gutting for Bournemouth, glorious for Arsenal.
Liverpool have been showing signs of improvement and hit all the right notes against the new League Cup holders Manchester United.
For thrills and spills, this fixture rarely disappoints. These two have been the alpha clubs of English football. Woodson, it's a clever ball. Gakpo, a sight of goal, a wonderful finish. Cody Gakpo, just before the break, gives Liverpool the lead. Now this is Salah. Shaw has been careful not to handle it. And Darwin Núñez makes it 2-0. Now Salah. Martinez the defender. Salah turns and twists. Gakpo 3. Darwin Núñez cut out by McTominay. Salah. Good night and good luck. Liverpool 4, Manchester United 0. Darwin Núñez was hoping that would be nodded down. Van Dijk couldn't get a touch. Here is Darwin Núñez! It is 5-0. Elliott, can they make it 6? Roberto Firmino. Salah! It is 6. Couldn't get worse for the visitors. Salah, Roberto Firmino. It's in! It's 7! The final whistle blows at Anfield. Manchester United have been humbled.
Their heaviest ever Premier League defeat. The scoreline left United boss Erik ten Hag seething.
It was not us. It was not our standards. We didn't play as a team. It's unprofessional.
Are you angry about it, about that second half performance?
Yes, definitely.
What chance after that for Liverpool's next opponents, the bottom club, Bournemouth?
Klopp's first win as a Liverpool manager came against Bournemouth. Now Ouattara again. Solanke's in the middle. So too is Phil Billing. And it counts. They put 7 past Manchester United. But they're behind in Bournemouth.
While Mo Salah had the best chance to break the Cherries' resistance, he only managed to sum up the day. Liverpool exhilarating at Anfield and embarrassed by the seaside, all in the space of a week. Elsewhere, Crystal Palace were becoming concerned, 12th but yet to win in 2023. Not the best backdrop for a meeting with Manchester City.
Selhurst Park will be wishing for one of those nights when they upset the big boys, but they don't come much bigger than these boys. Crystal Palace have switched off here. Gundogan. Oh, penalty to City. Haaland, a chance from the spot. It's Haaland, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. Goal 28 in this Premier League season.
City now sat just 2 points off the top. The cat and mouse chase continued as Arsenal went to Fulham.
Trossard behind Saka to break though for Martin Odegaard. Arsenal are flying. Brilliant performance from the Gunners. They have blown Fulham away.
Crystal Palace hoped a grudge match at the Amex Stadium could kickstart a spluttering campaign. Rivals Brighton were eager to add to the pressure.
And here goes Mitoma. And through for March. March! What a brilliant goal! Outstanding! A glorious assist from Mitoma. A magnificent goal for Brighton.
For Patrick Vieira, a defeat too far. After one league win in 14, Palace dismissed their manager 2 days later. Tottenham's hold on a top 4 spot faced a growing threat from Newcastle. With Antonio Conte back in the dugout full-time, Spurs badly needed the points that beckoned when they were 3-1 up at Southampton.
Ward-Prowse with it. Mara, Walcott! Saints right back in it! Ward-Prowse. Oh, Salisu is there. Both go over. It's a penalty to Southampton. 3rd minute of stoppage time. Can James Ward-Prowse win a point? You bet he can! Smashed into the top corner. It's 3-3. A quite astonishing second half here.
With long-term repercussions, Southampton's stunning comeback and Tottenham's collapse tipped Conte over the edge.
This is unacceptable. They don't want to play under pressure. They don't want to play under stress. Yeah, it's easy in this way. And Tottenham's story is this.
His outburst put the Italians' future in doubt, and inside a week, Conte had gone with assistant Christian Stellini placed in charge. Chelsea had achieved successive league wins for the first time since October, either side of beating Borussia Dortmund. Against Everton, they led 2-1 deep into the second half.
Everton hoping that they will be able to salvage something in the dying embers of the game. Decore. Olaf Sims taking it on. This could be the moment. It is! What a time to score your first ever Premier League goal with an 89th minute equaliser.
With 2 months to go, Arsenal led Manchester City by 8 points. Manchester United and Tottenham completed the top 4 ahead of Newcastle. Chelsea were 10th. Close at the other end, Crystal Palace in 12th, just 4 points ahead of bottom club Southampton, with West Ham and Bournemouth also in the relegation zone.
April opened with a game that's been a title decider in recent years, but Liverpool were 19 points behind host Manchester City, though the champions were without top scorer Erling Haaland.
Here's Mahrez. Gets away from Van Dijk. Gundogan knew where Grealish was. Alvarez! Mahrez here. It's De Bruyne in the middle. Kevin De Bruyne! Manchester City score! Mahrez. Alvarez. Blocked by Alexander-Arnold, and it falls on a plate for Ilkay Gundogan. Grealish. De Bruyne, still plenty energy in the legs. Jack Grealish! No Erling Haaland today for City. No problem.
That performance left Arsenal needing a response against Leeds. Gabriel Jesus started his first league game in over 4 months, and the Brazilian wasted no time, scoring twice as the Gunners swept to a 4-1 win. At Selhurst Park, Roy Hodgson returned on a short-term deal to rescue Crystal Palace. His mission began against Leicester and ended with a thrilling climax.
Here's Mateta, great turn, great finish! Would you believe it? And Roy Hodgson, could he have asked for a more dramatic first game?
Defeat saw the Foxes fall into the bottom 3 and Brendan Rodgers leave the club by mutual agreement. Dean Smith replaced him until the end of the season. Chelsea's Graham Potter was also under pressure. 10th in the table, his side were visited by an in-form Aston Villa.
Oh, Douglas Luiz is headed by Cucurella, straight into the path of Ollie Watkins. He was never going to miss. Just a deft one in towards the near post. Flicked down away from Buendia, but Ramsey recycles it. Oh, what a strike from McGinn! A quite magnificent finish from distance. Boos say it all. Another Chelsea defeat, and again, the bridge is over troubled water.
It was one too many defeats for Potter, dismissed just 7 months into a 5-year contract. His replacement was Frank Lampard, who returned to the club to see out the campaign, starting at Molineux. A scorcher from Mateus Nunes gave Wolves the win and breathing space above the bottom three. Plenty of room to improve for the Blues. Liverpool's role in the title race was not what they'd anticipated, but Arsenal's visit to Anfield afforded Jurgen Klopp's side a say against a team who'd won their last 7 league games.
Now Arsenal would love a firework start. Martinelli, brilliant feat, and he smuggled it in! A huge goal for the title chasers. Here's Gabriel Jesus. Arsenal make it 2-0. What fight of Liverpool left in them? Jota. Salah! Mo Salah drags his team back into the game. Hush descends over Anfield. The enormity of what's happening here. Alexander-Arnold. Roberto Firmino! Liverpool come back from the dead for 2-2. A seismic moment in the Premier League title race.
Back in North London, a Bournemouth brace saw them lead Spurs in added time, but with the game winding down, the action stepped up.
Oh, Danjuma! What a spectacular finish from the former Bournemouth player! It's 2-2. Oh, Solanke. Could there be a chance here for Bournemouth? It's a chance for Ouattara! Absolutely incredible! And he surely won it in the 5th minute of stoppage time.
The top 4 looked increasingly distant for Spurs, especially with Newcastle on the charge, but Unai Emery had transformed Aston Villa, who also had European aspirations.
And again, it's Watkins peeling away at the far post, keeps it alive by finding Ramsey. 1-0 to Aston Villa. One step closer to this unlikely European adventure.
A brace from Ollie Watkins sealed an emphatic win for the hosts and ended Newcastle's run of 5 straight victories. Winless in 4 league games, Liverpool travelled to Leeds. The hosts had conceded 10 goals already in April, and it was another grim game for Javi Gracia.
Gakpo, Salah, great chance, he doesn't miss. And there's no respite for Leeds United.
Having let a 2-goal lead slip at Anfield, Arsenal were running out of second chances to hold off an increasingly relentless Manchester City. 2 up inside 10 minutes, a clumsy tackle handed the Hammers a lifeline.
Side Benrahma scored at Arsenal earlier this season. Can he score against them again? He can. Big appeals for handball, and the referee's going to give a penalty. Second penalty of the game given. And it's Bukayo Saka. He scored them all in the Premier League this season, but he hasn't scored that one when it really mattered. The next goal at... It's a good ball over the top. Bowen arrows hammers one in. Is this the day of the unforeseen twist in the plot of the most absorbing title race?
As Arsenal slipped, so too did Spurs. 3 points behind Newcastle in the chase for the Champions League, they travelled to Tyneside in need of a win.
Joelinton getting himself into a shooting position, almost a perfect start it is. It's taken Newcastle a minute. Jacob Murphy. Joelinton, he's in again. 6 minutes of Magpie magnificence. It's free. It's an absolute stunner from Murphy. 8.5 minutes in. Newcastle United 3, Tottenham 0. Isaac in here. And it's 4. Tottenham Hotspur imploding before our eyes. And they're pushing forward again. Oh, they've done it again. It's Isaac.
5-0 up within 21 minutes. Callum Wilson made it 6 in the second half to leave Spurs stunned.
It's very embarrassing, and the first thing is probably we should apologise to the fans who travel or the fans who watch the game.
Interim head coach Christian Stellini paid for the embarrassment with his job, sacked the following day after only 4 league games in charge. Bournemouth had a much better April, 3 wins in 4 easing their relegation fears. But West Ham were finishing strong and were 2 goals ahead after just 12 minutes. Pablo Fornal's acrobatics were the highlight of an emphatic win that helped ease them away from the Premier League drop zone. After 2 straight draws, a visit from bottom side Southampton was just what Arsenal needed to get back on track. But at 2-0 down, control of the title race was slipping from their grasp.
Bukayo Saka. Got beyond Perro, and there's one back! Gabriel Martinelli! Ward-Prowse with the ball in, and a chance here! A third Southampton goal! Arsenal falling apart! Good shot there, wonderful goal from Odegaard. And Arsenal perhaps aren't done yet. Good ball there by Trossard. Nelson! Oh, Bazunu with the save! And Saka there! Arsenal make it 3-3. And it's all over. There is the full-time whistle. This feels like a decisive shift in the title race.
5 days later, and any lingering regrets had to be shelved ahead of a midweek meeting with Manchester City. A win would see the title race return to the champions' own hands and leave the Gunners' hopes of glory hanging by a thread.
This is the big one we've been waiting for. Can Mikel Arteta's side hold their nerve for this visit to the lair of the reigning champions? Control by Haaland. De Bruyne's got Grealish if he needs him, but this is a thrusting surge. That's top quality from Kevin De Bruyne. The Belgian scores against Arsenal. Eyes of concentration from Aaron Ramsdale. Stones on their way to 2 points behind Arsenal. Odegaard's pass was too weak. De Bruyne got it onto Haaland. Back to Kevin De Bruyne. So cool and collected. He has side-footed it into the net. Here's Haaland. Here unleashed. Shot unleashed. No doubt about it now. The party in Manchester can move into full swing. The final whistle blows and the job is emphatically done. Manchester City 4, Arsenal 1.
The better team won the game. When you are fighting for the championship, you need a very different performance to do that, as a team and individually, and we didn't do that.
Suddenly, a win at Fulham and City will be top for the first time in 2.5 months. A penalty inside 90 seconds was the perfect.
This his moment for goal number 50. Erling Haaland, goal scorer. Alvarez, and still Alvarez goes. Oh, it is an absolute stunner. Alvarez into the top corner. Manchester City into top spot.
Winless in 4, Leeds really needed a result at the Vitality Stadium. The more defensive frailty gave Bournemouth a 4-1 win that all but sealed their survival and cost Javi Gracia his job. 21 goals conceded in the month was a Premier League record. Sam Allardyce stepped in until the end of the season. Despite a below-par campaign, Liverpool were making a late surge towards the top 4. They would have to overhaul Spurs, who arrived at Anfield with Ryan Mason in temporary charge.
Alexander-Arnold, no one's marking Jones. The perfect start for Liverpool. Inside 3 minutes. Gakpo. Diaz! It's happening again to Tottenham. Alexander-Arnold, Gakpo, penalty! Liverpool 3, Tottenham 0. Not even a quarter of an hour played. Tottenham are all at sea. Perisic always got around Van Dijk here. This is Harry Kane. Tottenham get one back. Now, Son is onside here. In behind Van Dijk, and it's 3-2. Son's in swinger. Richarlison! Tottenham have done it! From 3-0 down. It's one of the great Premier League comebacks! Quite how Tottenham have turned this around is beyond me. It's not over yet. Jota! 4-3! 7-goal thriller! And Richarlison's heroics have been erased.
April's end saw Manchester City lead Arsenal by a point and with a game in hand. Newcastle and Manchester United completed the top 4, with 5th place Liverpool closing in. A good month for Palace, Bournemouth and Wolves saw them all pull clear of immediate danger. Southampton was slipping away, 6 points from safety, but only 2 points separated the 4 teams above.
History in the making at the Etihad in early May, where Manchester City's Erling Haaland was on the brink of a record. West Ham tried in vain to resist.
Now City can bring it forward. Haaland waiting for it. Erling Haaland keeps doing what Erling Haaland does. 35 goals in 31 games, and the rest now all trail in his wake.
It feels amazing, and I'm also happy for the 3 points. In the end, that's what matters. And
on the South Coast, Manchester United undertook a stern examination of their top 4 credentials. Brighton's hopes of a first-ever league double over the 13-time Premier League champions came down to a 99th-minute penalty, converted by the ice-cool Alexis McAllister to send the Seagulls into raptures. Saturday the 6th of May was the day of King Charles III's coronation. In tribute, the national anthem was played ahead of the weekend's Premier League fixtures. Tottenham had long been Harry Kane's kingdom, and the forward had his own sights set on the Palace. Crystal Palace stood between Spurs' talisman and another notable milestone.
Pedro Porro, Kane up, Kane scores. It's another landmark goal for Harry Kane. 209 now in the Premier League, second in the all-time list. One more than Wayne Rooney, and Alan Shearer still in his sights.
I want to keep scoring goals as long as possible, so to go ahead of someone like Wayne, one of the best players the country's ever seen, is obviously a special feeling.
On Tyneside, third played host to second. Newcastle chasing Champions League football. Arsenal aware they had to win to keep the pressure on City, hoping the leaders would slip up somewhere in their remaining games.
Jorginho to Odegaard, who fancies it. What a strike from Martin Odegaard! They believe the title is not done and dusted yet. Martinelli to the byline. Oh, it's gone in off Fabian Schär. Arsenal celebrate. And in their pursuit of Manchester City, there is no let-up from Mikel Arteta's team.
Relegation-threatened Everton arrived at the Amex without an away win since the start of October. But Sean Dyche had a shock in store for Brighton.
Now here's Calvert-Lewin, Doucouré's in the middle, it's Doucouré, and Everton have scored after 34 seconds!
It set the tone for a staggering performance, with the Seagulls caught on the counter-attack time and again. Everton 5-1 winners. What Leicester would give for a lift like that. In the bottom three, they faced a Liverpool side on the up. Against Dean Smith's team, the Reds racked up their 7th successive win, a timely run of improved form that had revived their prospects of a top four finish. The Foxes' future looked bleak. At St Mary's, Southampton's destiny was about to be decided. 8 points from safety, only a win could spare them from relegation. Fulham were merciless. A chorus of boos signalled the end of Saints' 11-year spell in the Premier League. Down with 2 games to go. There were implications at both ends of the table at Goodison Park when Everton, just a point above the relegation zone, played host to Manchester City.
Mahrez again. Into a dangerous area, Gundogan trying to make something happen in quite a sensational manner. And here's Ilkay Gundogan again. Haaland! 2 in 2 minutes. Erling Haaland, a wrecking ball to the record books. City get closer and closer.
Gundogan's final flourish sealed City's 11th successive league victory. With games running out, Arsenal knew maximum points were a must to retain a realistic chance of the title. But opponents Brighton were fired up by their pursuit of a first ever appearance in Europe.
Mitoma. Estupinian. It's another opportunity, and it's into the back of the net from Enciso. Brighton take the lead at the Emirates. Trossard. Oh, it's going to fall to Undav here. This can settle it. Brighton double their lead. It's a massive dent in Arsenal's title ambitions now. Undav, who's full of confidence now, and followed up by Estupinian. And that's it now. Signed, sealed, and delivered.
The Gunners devastated. The defeat left reigning champions City 1 win from retaining their crown.
It's not there mathematically, but that feel like the title's gone.
Yeah, it feels like that. I think it's going to be very difficult now, we have to be honest. So big disappointment, and feels like it's no hope now.
They moved on to Nottingham next, where anything but an Arsenal win would confirm Manchester City as champions. A hostile environment at the best of times for visiting teams. With Forest knowing 3 points would secure survival, the noise was off the scale.
The City ground at its vibrant best. So much to play for Nottingham Forest. I'm still hoping that they will still be in the title race when dawn breaks tomorrow. Gibbs White. It's a Wonyi! A goal that could crown champions and secure safety once and for all.
Try as they might, the misfiring Gunners could not gain a foothold. Time ticking away on their title challenge as City's players watched in Manchester.
The whistle that proclaims the champions. It's Manchester City's season again.
Forest saved and Arsenal in despair, ending the season empty-handed despite having spent 248 days top of the table.
Congratulations to City for winning the championship, and obviously a really sad day for us after everything that we've done in this season.
Welcome to the Premier League title party here at the Etihad Stadium. This place is ready.
The following day, with the pressure off, Manchester City and their followers could revel in the moment. The first side since Sir Alex Ferguson's Manchester United to win 3 consecutive Premier League titles.
The race done and dusted, with breathing space in the end for a Manchester City team who have been ruthlessly brilliant.
A 1-0 win over Chelsea was the icing on the cake for the club, who ended their memorable day in familiar fashion, lifting English football's most prestigious prize for the 5th time in 6 years.
The history makers, the record breakers, the team that have simply been head and shoulders above the rest. Manchester City equal the English top flight record.
No, this is the memories I will remember the rest of my life, and I'm just going to enjoy this day.
Though the main honour was decided, the race for European places continued. Liverpool and Aston Villa both among the contenders, with the Reds trailing until the 89th minute when a fan's favourite making his final Anfield appearance delivered a parting gift.
It just had to be, didn't it? What a way to say goodbye for Roberto Firmino, and maybe that was written in the stars.
A fitting way for the tearful Brazilian to draw 8 years on Merseyside to an emotional close. Leeds arrived in East London for their penultimate fixture, desperate to climb out of the relegation zone. The escape was on the cards before Sam Allardyce's former club West Ham shook off a poor start and took control. The Hammers' success meant that with just 1 game left to play, Leeds would be in for a nail-biting final weekend. That result offered hope to lowly Leicester for a daunting night in Newcastle, where a draw would be enough for the hosts to clinch a Champions League spot for the first time in 20 years. The Foxes' fierce resistance meant it ended goalless, earning a point that was helpful for Leicester and priceless for Eddie Howe's team.
But St James's Park, a scene of celebration, a Champions League place assured. The team that was staring down the barrel of relegation not that long ago will now mix it with Europe's elite.
It's amazing to get over the line and get it done tonight. It wasn't something that was on our radar pre-season, so we're way ahead of schedule, but certainly take it and we're delighted to be there.
Manchester United also needed a point to complete the picture in the Champions League qualifying positions. Against Chelsea, Erik ten Hag's team quickly took control and never looked back after Casemiro's header.
United's home unbeaten streak now 27 and counting. Oh, he comes through for Sancho. 2-0. Anthony Martial there to tap it in. And they know that they will be a top 4 team again this season.
Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford sealed the win for United, Chelsea's 22nd loss in all competitions, the Blues' worst record for more than 30 years. In the Midlands, Aston Villa's relaxed demeanour disguised the importance of their final fixture. A win would guarantee a return to continental football after 13 years. But Unai Emery's side faced Brighton, who'd already clinched 6th to take a Europa League place. After Ollie Watkins built on the early lead established by Douglas Luiz, 7th was secured. Villa's lead proved insurmountable. The final day saw a three-way fight to avoid the 2 remaining relegation places. Only Everton could control their own destiny. A win over Bournemouth at Goodison Park would be enough to guarantee the Toffees' survival. At the King Power, Leicester needed Everton to slip up and a win over West Ham United, as Dean Smith sought to save the ailing Foxes. Below them, Leeds were in the most precarious position, requiring Everton and Leicester to drop points, as well as a victory over a Tottenham side still in the European hunt at kick-off.
You would expect some kind of reaction from Leeds here today. They simply have to perform, but here's Son. Now Harry Kane, and he sweeps Tottenham into the lead. It is a nightmare for Leeds.
The eventual with a lovely lay-off. Harvey Barnes! Leicester's lifeline successfully thrown. It's the goal that could potentially change it all.
Leicester, with all the quality in their squad, have produced the goods so far when it matters. And against Vina, Decore! One of the most valuable goals of his career!
Match winner Abdoulaye Decore had earned his place in Everton folklore. Sean Dyche had overseen a last-ditch escape, consigning the other relegation contenders to the drop. Leeds' latest spell at the highest level had lasted 3 seasons and always been a struggle. Leicester's decline was more of a shock, 7 years after winning the Premier League title. Champions Manchester City ended up 5 points ahead of Arsenal, with Manchester United and Newcastle the other Champions League qualifiers. Liverpool and Brighton took the Europa League places. Aston Villa landed the Europa Conference League spot, despite Tottenham's win on the final day. Chelsea appointed Mauricio Pochettino as their new head coach after finishing 12th, 27 points adrift of the top 4. Everton dodged relegation by 2 points as Leicester, Leeds and Southampton went down.
After a gruelling 10 months, a familiar outcome. No side could match Manchester City's quality and consistency. Only the 5th side to lift 3 successive English titles. No team in history have ever won 4 in a row. The planning to stop City becoming the first starts now.